Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Thursday. It's Thursday evening, December 13th. We have about 6 more days of school before we break for the winter break. I just want to let you know that we still have an exam that we need to do next week, so really want you to stay focused and stay on task. Tonight we were doing fractions and whole number multiplication. This is going to be the last assignment before we move into dividing fractions. This is for period 3 in Rose class, Miss Rose class. Okay. All right, you were doing all even numbers. Some of you came to me and I gave you specific ones, but follow along to make sure that you are on track. So here we had 3/5 times 5, and then we said that, and this has the line through it. Sorry about that. That's the way it came out on the printer. And here I'm going to have 3/5 times, and I'm going to put times here because some of you were getting confused, 5/1, and that is 15/5. 5 goes into 15 3 times, and so my answer is 3. Let's move over to number 4. I have 16 times 13, or 13 3/4. So I have 16/1 times 3/4. I'm going to put these all on the same line. 16 times 3 under 1 times 4. 16 times 3, 3 times 6 is 18, so that makes it 48/4, and my answer is 12. Number 6, 6/1, and I'm just going to bring this here, 6/1 times 3 times 8. Okay, so I kind of did it a couple of different ways, so whichever is most comfortable for you to see that 6 now becomes a fraction by placing the 1 over it, and we're multiplying where it goes straight across. Okay, so no matter which way you look at it, it still goes straight across. 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 goes into, where are we at, number 6? So, those of you that are still not comfortable with the fractions, I'm just going to go ahead and start subtracting out whole numbers. So I know my denominator has to be 8. 8 over itself is equal to 1. So that becomes 10/8. I subtracted 18 minus 10. And I can still, because it's still greater than 1, I can take out another whole, and that's going to be subtracting. I don't know why I did that. And I'm writing with pen because I couldn't find all my pencils. So I wanted to hurry up and get this done. So I have 1 whole, 2 wholes. So this is equal to 2 and 2/8. But I can't leave it like that, right? So then 2 is divisible by 2, so it can be split in half. So I'm going to cut that. So half of 2 is 1. Half of 8 is 4. Sorry about that. So number 6, my answer is going to be 2 and 1/4. Sorry about that little confusion. I hate working in small spaces, and you guys know that. That just drives me crazy. All right, so we're coming over here. This is going to be 4 times 3 over 7 times 1, because to make that 3 into a fraction, I put a 1 over it, so that is underneath it. So it's 12/7. Again, if you are not comfortable with the division part, go ahead and subtracting. I know my 7 is going to be my denominator because I have to have the same denominator to subtract out. I put that number over itself is equal to 1 whole. 12 minus 7 is 5, right? Yep. I can't go any further. 5 is a prime number. The factors of 5 is 5 times 1. 5 can go into itself evenly, but 5 cannot go into 7, so I'm done. So my answer is 1 and 5/7. There you go. So that's 1 and 5/7. All right, now let's go ahead and look over at number 10. We needed to find the unknown digit. Okay, so what will equal to 8? So I'm going to have, on my unknown digit, it says 8 over 1. Something times 8 over, so this is what it will be. Like something times 8 over 4 equals, so what could it be that will equal 2? Yeah, because the only one, if you did 2, and my unknown number was a 2, that would be 16. 4 goes into 16 4 times, not 2. So the only way that it could be it is my unknown number is going to be 1. Because 1 times 8 equals 8 over 4 equals 2. Okay? All right, so let's look over here at number 12. So I have 1 over something times 24 equals 4. So I know I'm going to have 24 over what? What can I divide into 24 that will give me 4? Yeah, 6, because 6 times 4 is 24. So my unknown number is 6. Number 14, let's take a look at this one here. So my unknown number, what is this here? Well, this is what it's going to equal. I'm going to look at this part here. Well, I know that that's a 20. So 4 times what will give me 20? Yeah, 5. So my unknown number is 5. Because I have 5 over 1 times 4 over 9, going straight across, is equal to 29. All right, and that was that easy. Okay, so let's look over here, number 16. Sandra exercised 2/3 hour every day for 2 weeks while she was on vacation. So how many hours did Sandra exercise on her vacation? For 2 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to circle. There are some scary noises coming from this portable with the winds blowing so hard. All right, so I have 2/3 hours for 2 weeks while she was on vacation. How many hours does she exercise on her vacation? So I need to put brackets around my question. So that's 2 weeks. What is 2 weeks? How many days is 2 weeks? Because am I going to, some of you, how many of you would have done 2/3 times 2? I'm going to be honest, because this will represent my weeks. And that gives me 4/3. Does that even make sense? That she's going to end up exercising 1 1/3 for the full 2 weeks? No, it makes no sense at all. That's not at all. Not correct. I'm going to put not correct. How many days are in 2 weeks? So 2 weeks equals 14 days. So now if we're going to take the 2/3 times the 14 days over 1, 14 times 2 is 28 over 3. All right, so you can keep subtracting out your 3, 3, 3, 3, 3s on your wholes, or you can, 3 goes into 28, as close as you can get, it's 9, and makes it 27 with a remainder of 1. So my answer is 9 wholes, because that's my answer here. My remainder is my new numerator, and my denominator stays the same. So Sandra exercised 9 1/3 hours for the full 2 weeks. Now, does that make more sense? So I did it this way so that you could see if you did it 2 weeks, that's not meaning anything. That's not representing 2 weeks. That's going to represent what? 2 days. So that's not right. So that doesn't represent the 2 weeks. It represents 2 days. So if you kept going, so you could have done 2 weeks boxes, and in each box, showing the 2/3, and then you would be able to add that up. And that's because multiplication is repeated addition. Let's look at number 18. A florist arranges a bouquet with 12 flowers. He decides that 3/4 of the flowers in the bouquet will be carnations. Oh, how sweet. How many carnations will the florist need to complete the bouquet? Okay, so we're talking about carnations. And it's 3/4 of the flowers in the bouquet are carnations, and there's 12. So I have 3/4 of the flowers are carnations. So how many are those? So I'm going to have 3 times 12 over 4 times 1. This is 36 over 4, which is going to give me 9. And my answer is 9. So each bouquet is going to have 9 carnations. Number 20, Eric practiced for his piano recital 3/4 of a day each last week. How many hours did Eric practice last week? So he practiced 3/4 of an hour. So almost a whole hour. He shorted himself 1 hour, or 1/4 of an hour. And if I'm looking at it, if I were to take my clock and split that up into 4 pieces, this is noon, this is 12, this is 3, this is 6, this is 9. All right, so each 4th represents what? Yeah, 15 minutes. Isn't that pretty cool? All right, so but it was 3/4 for every day last week, and that was every day. So how many days are we talking about? Don't say 5, because it didn't say school days. It didn't say business days. It says every day last week. So we're going to have our 3. So we have our every day last week with 3/4 times my 7 days. It's 21 over 4. 4 can go into 21. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, this is what we're doing, because this is the division bar or divided bar. So 4 goes into 21 5 times, because 5 times 4 is 20 with a remainder of 1. And this remainder is now my numerator. So I have 5 wholes and 1/4. And my answer is C. How many hours he practiced. Cool, cool. You could do this 5 times and then add them all up. I mean, not 5. Wrong answer. It's 7 times. There we go. All right, multi-step. Rose bought a dozen eggs. Uh-oh. What does a dozen stand for? I'm going to put the 12 above. She used 2/3 of the eggs to make custard and 1/4 of the eggs to make an omelet. Oh, yeah. How many eggs does Rose have left? All right, so now what do we have to do? We got to add this stuff up. So I have to add these eggs with these eggs to even find out. So I have 2/3 plus 1/4 equals. Well, I can't add those without a common denominator. So my highest number is a 4. Can I multiply anything by a 3 to get to a 4? No. So now what I can do is just go ahead and multiply these together, and my common denominator is 12. So I have a 12 here. How did I get from 3 to 12? Well, I multiplied it by 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 4 times 3, because I needed to get to 12. 4 to 12, I multiplied by 3. Do the same thing to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So I have 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 twelfths. Okay? Well, it's saying how many eggs does she have left? What am I going to do now? Do I hear an answer? All right, so how far am I away from a dozen? A dozen is going to be 12 over 12, right? Because that's 1 whole minus 11. That's what she has left out of that. So how many does she have left? 1/12. So she would have how many eggs left? 1 egg. 1 out of the 12 that she has left.